All right, so what we're trying to do today is install our low truck mount alternator bracket in our OBS swap here. So the first thing we realized when we go to put this bracket on is there's no mount hole for this thing in the block, and the instructions tell you that, hey, on some of these cast iron blocks you might have to drill and tap a hole. So we called our buddies over at ICT Billet and got this like $12 bracket sent to us, and it's just a drill template. So it's gonna get bolted on here in just a second like that and get us the exact spot to drill and tap. So here we go. And this, I believe, is a metric 10 by 1.5, so we just picked up some hardware at the local hardware store. So the alternator kit actually came with this sweet little spacer that works perfectly for us. So we just snug that template up there, and it gives us the perfect spot that we need to drill for this bracket to mount up appropriately. So we just get us an 11/32 drill bit, size R, and start drilling a hole. So the first thing we did before we started drilling was do some measuring. How far and how deep do we need to drill and tap this thing? So we put all of our hardware together, stacked it up, and we're gonna go in about 0.6 inches into the block. So I've got tape on our drill bit set at 1 inch. We're gonna go a little bit further than we need to do. Then we need to go that way we get a full tap all the way in there. So we're gonna start with 1 inch on a little bit smaller drill bit, pilot that thing in there, get her lubed up with a little bit of WD-40, and go to town. Here we go. So the first hole's drilled, a little tired. The key with material like this is low speed, lubricant, and a lot of pressure. You want to put your heat in your chip. You don't want to burn your bits up. Takes a little bit of ass out of you. Whew. So we thought some of you might ask how we got our measurement of how far this bolt is going to protrude or extend into the block. So we just put the spacer on the other hole. The block surface is perfectly flush, and with this spacer up there, this is the same length as the alternator and the short spacer. So you get roughly a 1/2 inch of thread protrusion out of that. So that's how we determined how deep to go into the block. 3/4 of an inch is what we went so that we could get good threads all the way back that 1/2 inch distance. That's it. That's how you measure it right there. So for those of you that are worried about not having the right tools to do this, all the stuff we do here you can do in your garage, and most of the tools you can get from Harbor Freight, Northern Tool, things like that. We picked this up, metric SAE tap and die kit at the local Harbor Freight. I think it was like 39 bucks. So super cost effective and has the parts we need. All right, so this was the, sorry, the disgustingly ugly stock brackets for our swap. I gotta put it down before I get sick. Anyways, so we have completed the install of our ICT Billet lower truck alternator bracket and the LS1 pump conversion. We're gonna put a link down here below for these brackets, but don't be afraid to drill and tap the block like we had to do here. Super easy, super simple. It costs us less than, with the drill template, less than 50 bucks to get it done. And maybe 10 minutes worth of actual work other than our drive time. You gotta put a little bit of force into them when you're drilling those holes, but remember, low speed, heavy pressure, put the heat of the metal in the chip so you don't damage your bit and you don't get sideways and crooked and stuff. But all in all, super, super easy to install on these things. Highly recommend the ICT Billet accessories. Very, very great group of guys to work with. If you call and got a question, they're right there to answer. They're not the guys that believe, hey, it's 2022, you have to email. You can talk to them on the phone, and they're human beings. They're super great people. Highly recommend them.